Hello and welcome to the first video that I'm essentially going to be calling a talking point. I know that's basic, trust me I know, but it's essentially what this is. Basically, I sometimes put videos up on this channel called Video Game Storytime, where the whole point is that I'm talking about a game and telling a story about either something that happened or an experience I had or what the game means to me. But there's times when the game's only just came out, so I don't actually have an actual story to say or anything, and sometimes it's just a case of I want to actually talk about the game, so I figure, fuck it, just upload them as Video Game Storytime. And the more I've been doing that, it's like, but they're really fucking not, and this is only a hobby, and this entire channel is just for something to do at this moment in time. So I figure, fuck it, let's just do the first actual talking point video. And yeah, this is the best worst game to come out this year. That's, I think, what I'm entitling this actual episode. Hopefully I'm about to load the correct save file. I believe it's this one. I've been trying to set some things up because I need to show some stuff here. Crimson Desert is infuriating because there's so much I actually love about this game and so much I really want to enjoy and want to keep playing for, but then there's so much that is making me want to rage because it feels like I'm fighting with the controller every single step of the way. The controls in this game are essentially like trying to, sometimes, like, I don't actually have any pets, but I do know this is a common thing. I've seen a lot of pet owners do it. You know, when you have that need to just like hug your pet or pat it on the head or give it attention, and the pet wants absolutely nothing to do with you at this moment in time. It's, how dare you touch me, how dare you do any of this, I want to be left alone, I am my own thing, I am not your plaything. Which, by the way, mood, well on the animal for establishing that boundary, but the entire time the human is like, no, you are my plaything, I want to pet you, I want to hug you, I'm going to do that, and you will accept my love. That's kind of like what this entire fucking game's like playing. It's, you want to do something really cool, you want to actually use the controls to do something that will actually benefit you in the game, but every single step of the way, everything's fighting you. Just absolutely everything's fighting you. So trying to pat the head, rub the tummy, also whilst holding the animal in place because it's trying to escape you. That's like what playing this game is. It is the most maddening control system I think I've ever used in an action game, if not any game at all. There are games that, before we'd actually got to the point of figuring out how a controller works, now obviously this is a PC game, that I'm actually playing the PC version here, and people might be using mouse and keyboard. I personally cannot because of arthritis these days. I miss being able to use a mouse and keyboard, but everyone I've spoke to who's actually been using a mouse and keyboard is really pissed off and saying this game's clearly been designed with a controller in mind. No, I just think this game's been designed by someone who doesn't know how to make controls for a video game at all, because the video game controller controls are absolute garbage as well. So let's try and actually get some of this out of the way, whilst I'm also going to try to set up one of my first little problem areas. I think this is the right save. Basically, I need to kill a bunch of people on a bridge, which, don't ask why. I'll get to the issues this game has with story and lack thereof and just telling you or teaching you pretty much anything. But for now, let's get to the controls. So anyone who's played Elden Ring will be happy to know that right bumper and right trigger, so R1 and R2, and I don't know if this game will ever come to a Switch, but it would be R and ZR. They're how you do your basic attacks, and left bumper is how you use your shield, and that's also how you parry, although I'm not exactly the best at parrying, sometimes it just happens in this game. And then left trigger is to use your bow. And all of this may sound fine. Well, I'm using the bow now. How do I fire? I'll let go of left trigger. So I have to basically constantly aim and knock, and I might just be, there we go, I was just about to say, I might actually be just doing it too slow, but I have to constantly aim and knock the entire time, and that's if I want to use the auto aim, which is kind of on a standard, and you have to push a separate button to use what is known as precise aim or precision aim, Not that I can speak tongue-tied. It is a legitimate thing with me, sadly. I can never swallow my own tongue, but I will fuck up most words. So, using the bow is awkward and clunky, but that's not the half of it. So, I'm going to go to the notice board here, and I'm going to try to see if I can replicate what happened to the last time I did this. Because you have to pick up, which you have to push and hold X to pick things up. Then I have to examine by pushing and holding down a different button. Then all of this comes up, including the first time I did this, a pop-up actually came up while I was in the middle of examining, telling me how to examine despite being in the middle of examining it, so it stopped me from doing this. But the button that is to pick up and to essentially talk to someone is also jump. Yeah, for some reason they've made that jump. The amount of times that I would try to pick up a note off this board, and instead of picking up the note, I would just jump to the top of the board. Or when I was trying to pick up a bunch of barley that was on the floor, and I'd just stand there jumping in place. But that's only one kind of jump, because the other kind of jump, you know that focus button that I'm talking about? Yeah, the focus button also allows me to do a focus jump like that. So I'm then having to hold the left bumper to then hit X to be able to jump. But not if something like that gets in the way, where it brought up a bunch of other things that I could do if I was close enough, but I'm not close enough, so why wouldn't you let me jump? Like, every single thing about the fucking controls of this fucking game are absolutely maddening. And at least it did happen. It didn't happen as much. The first time I did this, it actually placed the notes in a different place, and this butcher one was actually the bottom left, and I think that's why part of the problem was, because I actually had to change the camera angle to be able to try to focus on just the one thing I want to do, which you can change the camera angle quite easy and on the fly. And one of the good things that you can do is actually go into first person mode. And first person mode does fix some of the issues that I actually have with differentiating between jumping or picking up or doing anything like that, other than the fact that as soon as you focus it kicks you straight back out of it, because why? Just why? Then there's the fact that the crouch button is also the ability to do this. So I have to push it to crouch, I have to push and hold it to be able to do that. That's basically the left analog in on a controller, so crouch or do that whilst holding left analog in. Then I've got the right analog, which I can't remember what the right analog's supposed to do normally, but at the moment it does me this ability, or to be fair, it must just be that, and I can hold it to do a more powerful one, and that's a kind of a punch thing that I've got. None of this is intuitive, not a single part of it. Trying to do any of this in combat is a nightmare. Trying to actually use these abilities for puzzles is, quite frankly, a nightmare. The animations of horses galloping look so badly off, it's unbelievable. I know I've kind of just made a huge jump from controls, but I am kind of, for now, done with complaining about controls, because, I mean, it's not much of an issue that Y is melee and hold Y to do a drop kick type thing, that kind of works, but, oh, to be fair, that is something I should mention. It's kind of got Gears of War running, so you have to, oh no, GTA, that's it, Gears of War is where you push and hold the button to run. So it's got GTA running, you've got to constantly spam the A button, but then your B buttons dodge, for some reason. Dodge and run are usually the same in action games these days. And then there's also something else that I've kind of got to try and set up. I should be able to do it over here before I actually jump onto the horses. You can fly in this game. Now, fly's being generous. Hopefully this works. It kind of did, but not really. I clearly need to get to a taller cliff, which from here is not possible. But while I'm in the air, I would essentially glide. I might be able to do it off the house, thinking about it. I'd essentially be able to glide, like if you were playing Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild or anything like that, which it's clear some of the inspirations are from in this game. Only, you don't really glide. You're supposed to be flying, because you're supposed to be like a crow. And if I just do nothing there, then I don't lose any stamina. But as soon as I move, stamina pisses down. And that's what I mean by flying is generous. You don't gain any height. At best, you can maintain it for like 4 seconds from standard. There's just so much that I have against this game, and it's annoying because the actual game itself is fun. So, I annoyingly forgot while I was talking about all of the really awkward, overly complicated controls, to mention literally the first ability in the game you get. So left bumper, right bumper together to enter this. Then I have to let go of left bumper to be able to then push left bumper again to focus the light. From what I can gather, there is no reason at all to enter into this mode without also focusing the light. So why do I have to push both buttons together, then let go of one, then push it in again? There's loads of little things like that, just loads of tiny little things that just don't feel quite right, and it's enough that eventually these little things add up and suddenly you realise it's actually some really big things. And it's such a shame that the controls are ultimately where this game fails the most, because I could excuse a lot of other things, but the fact that you've entered into a very established industry and genre, and I'm not saying everyone should try to do the exact same thing. Like, we need people who will break the mold and do things different, but when it comes to established controls in action games, we've got them established for a reason. Like, this isn't like when suddenly you added a second analog and people were just like, oh, I don't want to fight the muscle memory, like, this is awful. People realised pretty quickly, yeah, this is going to be annoying to learn a second analog, but at the same time, this is going to like make a world of difference controlling the game going forward and controlling all games going forward. I don't think anyone out there is going to play this and sit there and say, you know what, this is how I think all action games should control from now on, because yeah, I truly don't think it will break that mold. It's annoying, it really is, and I know I've used the word a lot, but that's the only way I can see it, because there's so much I want to rave about the game. I truly do love the combat. It's not quite Elden Ring, but it's not quite just generic hack and slash either. It's kind of this fun arcadey in between, and I really want to continue playing the game and enjoying doing things like that. But every time I come to something that doesn't feel natural, it's taking so much longer. Just using the lantern as well, like equipping all of my stuff as well, I've got to hold up on the D-pad, and that allows me to change between Cliff and Herspear, my horse. Right on the D-pad brings up all of this, essentially my like items essentially to be able to eat and heal, and I imagine I'll get stuff for mana. Then left, I have to hold down left the entire time on the D-pad while I'm doing this to be able to cycle through what's equipped in what slot, be it a broom, as I've already mentioned earlier, at least hopefully by the time the cut kicks in, to different types of armor, which armor's on its own tab as well. It's like just everything from the menus, the inventory, all of this stuff. Even this here, for some reason, doesn't feel quite right, and I can't put my finger on just what feels wrong with it, but even all of this feels a little clunky, and it's just a shame, it really is. And I do like it, I do enjoy the combat, I do enjoy what I'm doing, but there's so many little issues. Like you've just seen there, I'm running a very powerful PC, I'm running this game on its absolute max settings, and I'm averaging between 90 and 100 FPS. I never expected to be able to do that. But there's pop-up everywhere. Like, hopefully you did see it. If not, you'll have to pull the video back a little bit. Those, I'm assuming, daffodils, sunflowers, daisies, whatever we want to say, just started to appear despite being really close. I was just about to say there's one over at the left, so just keep watching because I can guarantee it's going to happen. Yeah, there's just... That's not a lot of draw distance. I don't understand why that's popping up. So that is now lending me onto the actual, let's talk about the horses. The horse animation looks terrible. Mine kind of looks okay when you're on it, but the amount of times enemies or just AI will run past me, NPCs, on galloping on horseback, and it looks off. Water looks either decent or awful in this game. I don't have a save file saved where I could show you a waterfall. Waterfall in this game looks like stop motion animation. So like when you used to, I don't really mean Nightmare Before Christmas, but that style, because it's definitely not this way in Nightmare Before Christmas, but in Nightmare Before Christmas it's a stop motion movie, and water looks like stop motion water where it's mixed in with bedding foam or felt, essentially, and it just looks so wrong and so fake and so out of place. The game kinda does look really good in some places, but looks absolutely terrible in others. There's just so much. For every one thing this does right, it does something else completely wrong, and that's not to mention the complete and utter batshit nature of the mission structure. I'm going to spoil the very first few missions in the game, so I'm talking maybe a couple hours in. Obviously, it depends on how much you explore everything. I did kind of beeline to go through this, but I'm not really going to mention any massive spoilers because there aren't any. This game starts with essentially you appear to be in a camp with your friends mourning the death of someone. You get jumped by a bunch of raiders. I actually killed all of the raiders but left the boss until last. However, as soon as I killed the last raider before I could even start attacking the boss, it turns out that's a fight that I automatically had to lose, so I automatically lost the fight and died. My character is canonically dead. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't look like a zombie. I don't appear to be a tarnished like in Elden Ring. I woke up, basically, and everything was okay. And then everything started to present itself as if I'm in a dream. And I am very early in the game, so if this turns out to be story spoilers, I do apologise, because my assumption is that this is like a Link's Awakening, Majora's Mask style. You are technically dead, but you're going through the stages of grief. Because the mission structure, from waking up after dying, you have to go and arm wrestle. You arm wrestle for money. You give the money to a beggar. The beggar gives you a key. You enter the sewer where the beggar was sleeping. The key is not for the sewer. You go into the sewer. You find a damsel in distress who's tied up. You save her. She gives you an envelope, a letter with... I don't actually know what the letter was. I genuinely don't know what I was even supposed to be getting the letter for. I was told to exit the sewer and go find the child. I find a child and save the child's cat that's stuck on a roof. I rescue the cat, I give the cat to the child, and then I get told to inspect the key that the beggar gave me. Oh no, hang on, I'm skipping a step. After rescuing the child, I have to go to a person's house, pick up a broom and sweep their chimney. After sweeping their chimney, which that was a Herculean effort, because trying to line up the broom with the chimney to be able to actually do the sweeping animation that it needed me to do, because you can sweep and then you can sweep. And I know that makes no sense. It made no sense to me either. I could basically use the broom to sweep manually, or I had to be standing on the exact right part of the chimney to do the, I guess, cutscene sweeping. After doing the cutscene sweeping, then I was told to inspect the key. By inspecting the key, I was told to go to a castle. I don't know how I had to know to go to a castle, I just inspected a key. By going to the castle, I was told that I wasn't allowed in because I wasn't wearing the right clothes. I wandered around for about 20 minutes trying to find the clothes that I needed to get into the castle. I opened my inventory and they were just sitting in there. I'm beyond positive I never picked them up. I don't know how they got there. So I equipped the quote-unquote disguise, entered the castle, used the key to unlock a door. Unlocking the door teleported me to what appeared to be another dimension. I actually appeared to be in the sky at this point. This is the Tears of the Kingdom inspiration. I solved some rudimentary puzzles which were very janky and didn't really work quite well for me. The puzzles were basically picking up things using that that claw shot ability type thing, which I'm going to try to show off here and hopefully I can manage. Yeah, the fact that I have to hold down crouch, which is on the analog, makes it very difficult. Okay, so it destroyed it instead of picking it up. But let's see, I had to pick up that basket, basically. Because that's kind of what I had to do. I had to point it at something, pick up a piece of metal, put it into a wall, and then do this punch to slam it into the wall. Except that didn't work, because I didn't get the ability to punch. And it turns out I hadn't stood on a platform, so I had to run all the way back, stand on a platform to be then told to do the thing that I was already doing. Then it gave me the ability to do that punch. I was able to punch to lock the puzzle into place, and then I was told to jump out of the sky where I got that ability to glide, and then I landed down, had to go to a tower, kill a bunch of people. Upon killing a bunch of people, I had to put on a VR headset. It's not a VR headset, but it is a VR headset. I'm trying to actually remember how to do it because even the menu controls are unintuitive. I had to put on this VR headset. Then I entered like a digital landscape where someone told me to do something. I was told to then exit the tower that I was in. The child that I rescued was there. Oh, I forgot. I've just realised I mentioned I've missed over one little story thing. The jumping from an island and being taught to fly. The white crow that's currently on my shoulder. Although, to be fair, this might be a dove and not be the crow. I'm not 100% sure because the crow does look different and that definitely doesn't look like a crow. So this must just be the crow's messenger, I'm assuming. Basically, before getting the ability to fly, the beggar and the damsel who I'd saved earlier were now in the sky with me. One of them, it turns out, is a white crow woman, I guess, and the other is some professor type person. They're who give me the ability to fly. And again, fly is being generous. So that's when I then did the VR headset thing. The VR headset thing then led me to slaughtering a bunch of people. To be fair, I think I slaughtered the people to get the VR headset. Apologies that I'm jumping all over, but it's because this game jumps all over as well, and trying to remember what I was... It feels like a fever dream at times, it really does. But I am nearly done with just this little section, and that's where I'm going to be stopping. After doing the VR headset and the slaughtering, I was then told to talk to the little girl again. The little girl had the cat back this time, and I was told to then follow the cat. That's the opening hours of this game. None of it makes any sense. It's completely nonsensical. There's very little story going on. It feels like this entire thing was a fever dream. And it really does feel like there were, you know what, this is a video game and we're just going to treat it as a video game. Nothing needs to make sense. We're going to act like it is in a dream, where sometimes you're walking down a hallway worried that you forgot your math test, and then the next thing you know, like Tony Hawk is skating past you and you're in a shopping mall, and that's what the opening hours of this game are. And it means that the mission structure, the story and everything like that, I'm genuinely hating. But the actual gameplay, when I'm getting to do things, I'm really enjoying it. I'm having a lot of fun. Other than the fact that the controls make it brutal to play. So yeah, I don't really know what I can say about this game. If for some reason this is the video you've decided to watch to figure out whether you want to buy it, I don't think you want to buy it. To be honest, like, I don't want a refund. I'm already past the refund period anyway, and I don't actually want a refund. I know fine well there's enough here for me to see this through and to actually get some enjoyment out of it. But at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking, do I want to give it a month and see if maybe they'd totally redesign all of the controls? Because it's not just me complaining about them. And I've also just unlocked another ability, and I'm going to mention this puzzle. After doing the cat thing, so it really was just after doing the cat thing, basically I had to follow the cat to be taught 2 new abilities. The way you learn abilities in this game is you have to watch a digital version of them being done, and then you learn how to do it. Unless you're in combat, and then you watch your enemy do it, and then you learn how to do it. Like, I learned how to do a brutal kick because an enemy brutally kicked me. So the cat basically eventually took me to this wall, where I had to learn how to lift the wall up by watching how to lift the wall up. So I watched how to lift the wall up, then I lifted the wall up. I walked inside, and I was taught how to slow time down. Slowing time down is both analogs in together. The puzzle that I had to do did not, at all, involve needing to slow down time at any point. It felt like they had no place else to actually give me this fucking ability, and they were like, we're scrambling here, we've got to find a way to give the player this ability, because they clearly need it. I'm assuming I do. I haven't found anything to use with it yet, but I'm assuming I need it. It feels like an important ability, even though I haven't got to use it. So I'm standing in this room, watching how to slow down time, and I'm slowing down time, and I'm slowing down time, and nothing's happening, and eventually I walk up to the wall, and I don't know the name of the puzzle. There's a lot of these in a lot of games, and they all tend to have different names, so I'm just going to describe one, and hopefully you've played something similar. Resident Evil Requiem actually did it recently. There's an old school game called Lights Out that used to do it, where you have 9 cubes in front of you, and the cubes light up, and say you push the middle cube, the top, bottom, left and right cubes, to those, the adjacent cubes basically, light up. This was 3 circles in a row, and I had to punch the 3 circles so that all of them were in. So if I punched the middle one, the left and the right popped out. If I punched the left one, the middle one popped out. So, yeah, at no point did I need to slow down time for that. I just had to punch them in a specific order. It really feels like the people who made this game, I'm pretty sure it is a debut game. I am 100% sure it is this studio's first ever game. There are so many places where you can tell it's their first ever game, where it's like, yeah, you've clearly never made a game before, you've got some great ideas, but you're really lacking some polish. I'm genuinely wondering, have the people who made this game ever played a video game? Because when you get moments like that, where everyone knows gaming language, you know, if this is your first ever video game, this is going to ruin so many games for you, because you're going to think none of it makes any sense ever. Every gamer knows when you get an ability in a room, you have to use that ability. The fact that they give me this big ass, huge important slow down time ability and made a big deal about it, and then I didn't have to use it at all to solve the puzzle. Who does that? Who develops a game like that? That's not how this works. I get being quirky and doing your own thing with your own control scheme, but at this point, more and more things start to add up of, do you genuinely know what a video game is? Is that why the mission structure is like this? Is that why, like, have you ever interacted with this medium? How can you do so many really cool things? Like, graphically, this game, again, for the most part, looks fantastic. And yes, I am running it at its absolute max cinematic setting, but for the most part, it does look pretty nice. The combat flows really well, and I really enjoy doing it, outside of the bow and arrow, which is just weird. But all of the other little things, the abilities, the mission structure and everything, have you ever played a video game before you made this? I'm trying not to be too harsh because I understand it is the studio's first game, but this is maddening, and there's so much of it that it's why I'm sitting here again saying I don't want a refund. I do want to play this game, but I am genuinely thinking I will be playing this game in 6 months' time, because it's not just a case of taking a month off hoping to fix the controls. We're in the cycle now. Everyone knows how this works. It's March already. Games are only going to come out more and more frequently, until eventually we get to the end of December and then nothing comes out for a couple of months. Even the fact that you can... I'm actually glad this has happened, because even the fact that you can fast forward through the cutscenes, which I actually love that, because I have ADHD and the story's not that great anyway, so I actually like being able to fast forward through the cutscenes like that, other than the fact that it breaks them. It'll just... Instead of speeding up the speech seems to play at normal speed, but kind of sped up, but it then cuts out dialogue all the time. It'll cut out 1 or 2 words to end a sentence, and it's like, even that little thing, you have a great idea, but it's lacking some polish. And that's honestly what this entire game is for the first few hours so far. I really do like enough of it to say that this is a good game that I'm going to enjoy playing, when the caveat of it gets fixed comes into play. And in this rate, like, I do think just fixing the controls is all you need to do, because you can't fix all of the bullshit mission structure at this point, I imagine. The game's going to be how the game is. But just making it more accessible and allowing people to actually enjoy playing your game will go a huge way. This is not going to be a world beater. No one's ever going to say it. This is up there with the likes of Tears of the Kingdom or Elden Ring or any of the other games where it's clearly took a little bit of inspiration from. It's just not. But at least it will be a decent, fun 8, 9-ish game. Well, 9 might be a little too... Like, so to be fair, 9 at this moment in time might be a little too generous. But I don't know what the rest of the game's going to be. Maybe it's going to have some amazing epic set pieces where just being able to play the game and experience it and actually enjoy it through a better control system would help with that. But it's a lot of other little things as well. Like, it's got an encumbrance system. Like, the game's clearly trying to be a bit of Elden Ring and Tears of the Kingdom, 2 games where you kind of had to collect absolutely everything. But in this, collecting things is actually counterintuitive. On top of the fact that when I pick up a bunch of stuff, it usually has question mark, question mark, question mark, so I don't know what it is, incentivizing me to pick it up so I learn what it is. But then I go into my inventory and my inventory's full and I've still got a bunch of stuff that I don't really know what it does. Everything about it is unintuitive. Everything about it is just clunky and janky, and it's so many little things that if you just fix all of that, I do think this is going to be a really good game that a lot of people will enjoy playing, and a lot of people will probably enjoy playing it now anyway. There might be people out there who just genuinely don't play this kind of game, so they don't have the muscle memory issues that I'm having, because I think that's where a lot of this comes in for a lot of people. The fact that what is commonly sprint is actually crouch, but also to do this hookshot thing, and like, that's where a lot of the problems come in. If you haven't got thousands of hours of playing Elden Ring or Ninja Gaiden or anything at all what you expect a game to feel like, then you'll probably be okay. I mean, it's still clunky. It's always going to be clunky, but at least it won't be clunky and you're also battling your own muscle memory. But yeah, until the time that all of this gets fixed, I am kind of done with talking about this game, and I'm torn on whether or not I actually want to go back and continue playing it after this, because again, there's so many little things I am really enjoying, but I'm not having a lot of fun with the controls of them, and I'm in this mode of, do I hope they fix it? Because if they don't fix it, then I'm just never going to come back to the game. By the time everything else has came out this year, I doubt I will ever want to come back and play this if they haven't fixed it. But at this moment in time, if I put all of these hours in now and then they do eventually fix it, I'm just going to be struggling with relearning all of the new controls, you know? And it's just little things like that that are annoying me. But yeah, anyway, I've been Sky Fellowship. I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope this video has all been helpful to you. And if you're also having a lot of the same inner inner turmoil that I'm going through at this moment in time, let me know, because yeah, I really do hope they fix the controls and make it a lot more playable so that I can actually enjoy this, because I think I'm at the point, as much as I really needed a game like this to sink my teeth into right now, and again, there's only going to be more and more and more games coming out this year, so I don't know when I'm going to find the time. I think I'm going to have to shelve this. I really do, because I genuinely, if I'm struggling now with just these abilities, and I know fine well I'm going to get more. I've seen stuff in trailers, I've heard people talking about this game on podcasts. I know I'm going to get more and more abilities. It's only going to get worse. So I'm just going to have to hope that they do actually fix this. So yeah, until next time, I truly do hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye.